That's actually great.
I go cool for this one.
This might go viral.
I just go super chill with this one.
What's up, man?
What's going on?
What's up, bro?
Ready to get started?
I think so. Let's do it.
Take a seat.
Nice tree. Is that a Majesty palm?
Yeah, no, I just got it. Kmart.
Kmart. So it's a Majesty palm?
50% off.
So it's not a Majesty palm.
Dude, I can't afford Majesty palms.
It's fair. That's fair. Hey, I left my T-shirt out there. Should probably go get it.
You want to?
Yeah, I've got 2 T-shirts.
You got one on.
You never know if you need 2 T-shirts. I mean, anything can happen.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Let me grab them. If we're counting Majesty palms, I think that one is a Majesty palm.
Doesn't matter, dude.
I think that might be. I mean, it looks closer to a magnolia. Do you agree?
The whole entire tree thing. That's not my atmosphere. I don't know a lot about.
You don't know. You're not a a botanist?
No, not a big tree guy. I've tried getting into it, just couldn't.
Yeah.
Couldn't really.
I highly recommend it.
It didn't really suit me very well.
Majesty palms. There's some sort of. Are we? Should we talk about Majesty palms?
Let's go for it, dude.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Now, how would you start?
This is just about how all of the conversations Torrey and I have go. Mostly we talk about, important stuff, and then it just breaks off into Majesty palms, and we can't stop talking about trees.
It's true.
But let's give an official introduction. This is Torrey Leonard, who's going to be joining us for this interview. I'm going to be asking him some questions about how he came from someone who is interested in starting a business, someone who, I won't tell a story for him, but all the way to a entrepreneur that started Thoughtly, expanded it into this big business. But we're going to have some fun while we do it. So everybody, Torrey Leonard.
What's up, Will?
It's great to have you on. Torrey has been a huge friend of mine, so it's going to be more of a casual conversation, trying to get to know you a little bit better, get to know exactly how all of this started. So with that, let's just get a quick rundown of who Torrey Leonard is.
Yeah.
Where did things start? And how they escalate so quickly?
Well, everyone might remember the moment that they sort of gained consciousness, right? You went from being an infant to now, oh wow, I'm here on this planet. And my moment was in 4th grade when it was Halloween and everyone at my school, where uniform is required. It's a private school. It was a thing in the area.
I've been there.
It's a thing.
Yeah.
Everyone had the opportunity for Halloween to wear whatever they wanted, if it was a Halloween costume, right?
Okay.
So I was stoked. I'm like, this is awesome. So excited to be dressing up for Halloween. It's gonna be great. And to dress up as my hero,
Chewbacca.
Close. Guy named Steve Jobs.
Wow.
You heard of him?
I have.
So 4th grade, the iPhone hadn't come out yet. I mean, I'm an old man. I'm an old soul. So no iPhone, barely any press coverage. I mean, Steve Jobs was.
He was at the iPod level when you were dressing up like him.
He was
Wow.
Mr. Nano.
So you just dressed up in a t-shirt and jeans.
So I said to my mom, I need to go to the mall. I need to go get some New Balances. She's like, what? Got some New Balances. It was great. Wore my jeans. I think a black t-shirt just like this. And I showed up to school and I got in trouble. The teachers, the faculty, they were like, you just use this opportunity for a jeans day.
Yeah, to get out of
different
uniform.
thing, right? A jeans day is like, you did a good thing, right? And now I'm just like this bad guy who's using it as a jeans day. But no, I'm Steve Jobs, look him up. Well, no one wanted to Google him. Back then, Googling was, people now just Google whatever.
Well, it wasn't the 50s, but like.
There were no computers in sight. So somehow nobody Googled it until finally it escalated to the point where I'm talking to the principal. So now I'm in the principal's office and calls my mom up. And she's like, are you kidding? Do you not know who Steve Jobs is? And they were like, no. And then they Googled it, and they were like, oh, he's Apple. I've heard of that company.
So hold on. It escalated to the fact where you got brought into the principal's office for claiming that you were dressing like somebody that they thought didn't exist.
Correct.
Interesting.
Yeah. So there I was, sitting there in the principal's office, dressed as mini Steve Jobs.
Wow.
And no one knew who he was. A year later, I'm in 5th grade. Do your math. Makes sense. And teachers are saying, oh, I remember last year you dressed up as Steve Jobs. Well, how about this iPhone thing? And I'm like, yeah. I watched the whole show. I watched the release.
They hated on you.
Yeah, they hated on me, and then they realized, oh, this guy's pretty cool.
Wow.
Now all those people, guarantee it, they own iPhones. So.
Yep. And there's a mini Torrey Leonard out there that dressed like you this year.
I've heard.
Yeah. and he got sent to the principal's office.
Yep.
They said, I'm dressed as Torrey Leonard.
Little Kyle Buckley from Omaha, Nebraska. He wrote me a letter about that.
Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely. He had the stain on the pants and everything.
Yeah, thanks for pointing that out. Appreciate it.
But yeah, but to jump into more of the the light bulb moment as a kid. You dressed up as Steve Jobs. Of course, you got sent to the principal's office for some dumb reason. But what was the light bulb moment where you were like, this space, this is interesting to me. I want to pursue this a little bit deeper.
Tech.
Yeah, tech.
Tech, yeah. Well, it was 7th grade. In 7th grade, my neighbor introduced me to a game called Minecraft. And 7th grader, I'm a big nerd. So I'm like, sure, we play Minecraft a little bit. But we want to figure out how to play with each other, because I thought it was really stupid. He's sitting there with his laptop. I'm sitting there with my laptop. Both of them sound like they're going to take off. These machines can barely handle Minecraft. And I'm like, all right, you're in your own world, I'm in my own world. How do we make it so we can play together? So I set up a server, which is just CLI, like in the terminal on your Mac, download Java. It was not that complicated.
Yeah, no, it doesn't sound that complicated. Just CGI, download Java, you're
CGI, well, close enough. But got it set up, and then I had a little community I was in. I was in a virtual airline at the time. So my Dutch friends, my friends from the U.S., we would all we were in a virtual KLM airline. So I'd fly long haul flights across the Atlantic from Amsterdam to New York, Amsterdam to Los Angeles, real time.
What age is this?
That was 6th grade.
6th grade. You're
Yeah.
jumping on flights?
Virtually. On Microsoft Flight Simulator, X-Plane, on the VAT.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So that was fun, but I'd just be up all night, and I'd just be flying, right? Listening to ATC, doing all that. But that's how I formed a little community of people that I enjoyed. We enjoyed each other's company. Mm-hmm. Then I invited them all to play on the Minecraft server. So we grew to about like 10 people playing at once. Then posted a video on YouTube, and at the time, nobody was making public Minecraft servers. So mine was like the first one out there.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, we get the Minecraft server up to 30 people, 50 people, 60. Then I buy the top slot on Google. Now all of a sudden, we're at like 500, 800, 1,000 people playing concurrently. And I have a data center in Phoenix that's running all of it. And everybody's playing on this server. We were the #1 at the time, maxed out concurrency limit of 1,001 players, which at the time was phenomenal. We were running it on i7 Intel processors, which were the top for single-threaded tasks like Minecraft servers at the time. And we overclocked it. And those CPUs were getting so hot that our data center in Phoenix, these were like adults who were emailing me saying, you need to turn down the overclock. And I'm like, 7th grade. No. So there was clearly an issue where we had too many people playing.
That's wild.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But too many people were playing on one machine at a time. And so I said to my team, which were a bunch of other 7th, 8th, and some 26-year-olds and 9th graders, I said, all right, what are we going to do about this? There's got to be something we can do. So I looked at the overall scene landscape of other tech at the time, and AWS had just come out with a pretty cool load balancer for HTTP requests. And I thought, this is it. This is if you can load balance HTTP traffic to multiple machines, you can do it with, it's Java. It's the same, it's packets being dispersed elsewhere. So my team and I, we started coding up this thing we called a proxy. And it enabled our players to connect to one server where there were portals, and the portals would then take you to a different server, which felt like the same thing. You're connecting to one server, it's a seamless experience, but little did they know you're actually now on new hardware. Now all of a sudden, we were the only server out there that could go from 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 players, and we just kept going up until we were just crushing our competition.
Now here's a question I have for you, because for those who aren't passionate about Minecraft or aren't passionate about Java or proxies, we're passionate about money. How much money were you making at that time? 6th grade, 7th grade?
7th, 8th, and 9th grade was around the low 6 figures.
So, okay, a 6th grader, locked in his room, making Minecraft servers, upwards of 6 figures. How long did that play out? And what were you doing with the money at 6th grade? Just throwing it in savings?
I wish.
Like,
I bought go-karts. I bought a tent that you would use at a wedding, right? Like one of those big white canopy tents.
Yeah.
I bought,
wait, why would you just buy a tent?
Don't worry about it. I bought 5,000 yards of airline cable, like cable that you would tow an airliner.
Okay, it sounds like you had like an operation you were trying to do.
Don't worry about what was going on. I bought a botnet. That was fun. That was fun. Anytime other Minecraft communities would say, like, we're coming for you, Vaultcraft was what we were called. We're coming for you, Vaultcraft. We would
Minecraft
just
war.
use the botnet and just knock them offline.
Damn.
Yeah.
So you had it covered.
Because people would attack us all the time. I mean, you're number one, right? So they're just attacking us all the time. So I would just figure out who, and I would just hit them back.
Well, you're sixth grade. You got the money. You got the Minecraft fame. What sent it crashing down?
It's a great question. You've got everything, right? You know, you're an eighth grader, and it seems like you got everything, right? Well, I was just this little nerd sitting in my room, sitting on TeamSpeak, talking to my Minecraft friends, and there's one thing I was missing, and that was someone to share it with.
Damn.
So what did I do? Ninth grade rolls around. If you're in the U.S., you know that between 8th and 9th grade, you go, usually there's like a different setup, right? You go from middle school to high school.
It's called puberty.
Well, that's not what I'm talking about. That's great. You're switching schools. So I'm like, I got a chance here for a new reputation. I'm the Minecraft guy right now,
Yeah.
right? Everybody's like, you know, like, oh, how's your pickaxes? That's what they all said to me. So I'm like, 9th grade's coming around. I got to be cool. Got to be a cool cat. So what do? I'm like ready to offload this Minecraft server. I sell it to someone, sell the domain and all the machines and the whole business for $4,000. Even though the business was doing 6 figures of revenue in the previous 12 months.
Yeah, you could have touched an M.
So I didn't have an MBA. I'm in 8th grade. So that's great. The one goal I had with selling the Minecraft server is that I wanted to get a girlfriend. So what did I do? Took me about a year, but I met my now wife.
Wow. I know that story, so I'm not going to act surprised, but still, but still, great story. Completely reinvented from being locked in, Minecraft server, grinding, managing a team, reinvent yourself as the cool kid, and then what? How long did it take before you broke out into getting a girlfriend?
Well, let's just like set the record straight here. I was definitely not a cool kid, but I was like a little cooler. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, your wife's cool, so it's obviously like you must have been
First
really
time
cool.
she met me, I had blue lips from blue Gatorade I got in lunchroom. It's true.
Yeah, and
they were like blue as like the blue man.
You had the Cheeto dust on the pants.
Yeah,
too.
oh, Cheeto dust. I mean, it was crazy. Ritz crackers on my shirt.
Yeah.
Stain on my pants just like I do now.
Absolutely, man. So okay, you meet your wife. You meet your wife, and you guys live happily ever after, right? But there has to be there obviously was this longing to get back into this business world. I don't know if I call it Minecraft. Pretty much was a business, but you wanted to get back at it. When was that point?
Well, throughout the rest of high school, I continued to teach myself more skills. Like I had learned how to code in middle school, Java, and then I wanted to learn JavaScript. So when I was in high school, I taught myself React Native, other JavaScript frameworks, Node.js, and really just like that's what my focus was. I wanted to build apps. I thought it was fun. At the time, I'm in high school, and so I had ideas that revolved around like the gas app that came out many years ago from now. That was a cool app that someone else made, right? But like that kind of idea was in my head. But I never really made anything until I got to college at Ohio State. It seemed obvious to me there are like 50,000 people on this campus. It would be it would not be responsible to graduate and not try to put something out there to all these students.
True.
And so while I was in my off-campus apartment when I'm like a senior, COVID hit right when I was a junior senior.
Everyone's locked in.
Yeah, and then it's like I'm going to either play COD with like everyone else, or I'm going to make an app. So I made an app. It was called Jetty, and within a few weeks, it was at the top charts of the iOS App Store.
What?
A few weeks after that, you don't know this story.
No.
A few weeks after that, it was at the top charts of the Android App Store. We made 50,000. We got 50,000 users within the course of like 3 months, and all because I just started telling people. I posted on the Ohio State Reddit page. I posted on like groups online, and then people just told people about it. It grew. There were articles in like George Washington University.
What did you guys do on Jetty? I don't even know.
It was a place like it was Twitter, but for your local area.
Oh, so yeah, it went viral at Ohio State.
And other schools like George Washington University, schools in Utah, across the Sun Belt, just random schools across the country. Someone knew someone who shared it with someone
Did you get a sell on that?
No, it was just fun.
Well, then what happened?
I ended up making around $10,000 because all I did was there were people on there who wanted 1- and 2-letter usernames. So depending on, I wrote this like small algorithm for like determining the value or price of a username, and I would just sell it. So Stripe would come up. If you typed in like @X, Stripe would come up and it'd be like 10 grand.
Really?
No, I don't think anyone bought to @X. It's too good. But there are people who like got at, right? And that was like $1,000, for example. So a bunch of people bought those usernames over the course of that period.
Yeah, but there was no selling point, so this thing kind of just
No, it wasn't really a business. It was just a fun project.
Okay. So you released Jetty. When was that?
That was right during COVID when I released it. Right, 2022?
So you built it and bounced it.
Yeah, it was fun. It was just like a project. But I can say forever that my app was higher than it was sandwiched in between the Joe Biden app,
No.
Farmers Only, me, and the Ashley Madison.
No way.
Yeah, good little gang, right?
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah.
And there was no proper way to monetize it at the time?
I could have done ads or something, but it was like, I don't know. It was
Okay.
fun.
Now, okay, so we sold Minecraft for 4K. We ditched Jetty at
I think I'm showing you that I'm really bad at
no.
at acquisitions.
No, maybe it's just my stance, you know?
No,
Everything's different at the time.
Yeah, maybe I should take a course, a masterclass on M&A.
Who wants to buy Thoughtly for $15? It's up for sale.
$15.
$15.
That's it.
Come
That's it.
get it.
Yeah.
Speaking of Thoughtly, we got Jetty, we got Minecraft. When's Thoughtly coming in the picture?
So after college, after that app was on the top charts, it got me in touch with these guys who just raised a bunch of money from YC. Joined their team as employee number 1. Ended up over the course of a few years becoming head of product, and helped build out the original product that they now have today. Is called Affinity Finance, and they just raised $70 million, and they're doing co-branded credit cards for trade associations.
Wow.
While I was there, finished up the product work basically, and then it was about going and raising debt and stuff, and I'm like getting kind of bored, honestly, as many founders do. And I thought about how our customer service line at Affinity is going to need to be manned, and it would be myself and the 2 founders. And all of the questions that people are going to ask that we were preparing for are things that you could just throw in ChatGPT. So why not just have ChatGPT answer the question? So there we are, July of 2023. I start working on some prototypes of Thoughtly. The way it really started was you would test it through what seemed like Google Meet. It was like a fake Google Meet browser window.
Okay.
You would sit there and you would talk to our mascot, Tessa. And Tessa would just be sitting there with her face, and you would sit there with your face, and you would talk back and forth. And it was...
Would her mouth move?
No, that'd be cool. That was coming one day.
Okay.
Like a Hey Gen kind of platform.
Yeah.
And the original idea was that like the customer service thing kind of then like slipped out a little bit. But I thought if there is a platform where I can put on my Google Calendar once every 2 weeks on like a Friday, just a 45-minute block where I sit there and get interviewed by an AI agent. The AI agent can ask me a bunch of questions about myself based on my LinkedIn and my social content online. It'll interview me, and then it'll take these clips of me talking and put them and auto post them and put this whole social calendar together of like text, blog posts, and video content. Wow. And I thought this was a great idea, and started working on it, and I started using it, and it was really fun because I'm like, wow, I'm becoming a thought leader without having to do anything. And the name Thought Lead came into play. But as I'm doing it, I'm like, this is really cool, but it's more of just like a project. I think that the voice AI space, there's so much opportunity to do something enormous.
Yeah.
Something where you can exit for $10+ billion. And
Yeah.
we could IPO versus like a little side project.
Of course.
So I started to think of what this tech could really be used for. And when I shared the original product out with many businesses, they all said the same thing. This is awesome, but it'd be cool if you could connect it to my phone system. Just even for like reviews, like after they do their landscaping work or something.
And this industry was like brand new. There was
nothing.
There was no one out there.
Yeah. And so people wanted the agent that talked, that could speak on the computer. They wanted that on their phone. And so I just did a little thing in October of 2023.
A little thing, meaning hours and hours of engineering work?
It took me a weekend.
Wow.
Yeah, just like to hook up Twilio. People think it's so hard. It's like really very
Well, yeah, you're also notorious for having like this huge project and just cranking it out.
Yeah, I just didn't move for the weekend.
Yeah.
But like just all I did was take essentially it was the OpenAI API.
Okay.
Plugged into Google because there's no 11 labs available at the time. They were still just for TikTokers really. So OpenAI plus Google, and then that was just feeding audio packets over to Twilio.
Yeah.
And then you could call into it or get a call from it. And it worked really well, and it took a Saturday and half a Sunday, and it was pretty fun to set up. And that code is now obviously been taken out. You know, but it's like the foundation of
When
what
you started,
now.
the voices were
it was
awful.
horrible. Google, I mean, no offense to Google, but they're pretty behind. You know, 11 Labs came through then with their streaming API and I just plugged them in. It was so easy.
Yeah.
Knocked out Google. It was a done deal. It was like, now it sounds like a person versus a robot.
Yeah.
It was still cool at the time to talk to a GCP text-to-speech, model. You could sit there and you could talk, and sure, it sounded like a robot.
It's like a smart IVR.
Yeah. What it was saying was neat, you know, and it was helpful, but it was not, it didn't sound real.
Yeah.
When 11 Labs released that streaming API, that's when it all changed, and you could actually interact with a person.
Wow. Okay. So now you have your product. Now it's built. What was the first steps in getting this thing out to the public? You know, getting them acknowledged that this technology exists, that you're there, and that you're the one that's going to be providing it to them.
The first part of getting any product to market is to just go ask around. And that's what I did with the first product. Before Thoughtly was Thoughtly, all I did was just ask business owners, hey, would you pay for this? How much would you pay for this? Why would you pay for it? What would you do with it? And every response was, I like it, but I would love it if it could be connected to my phone system, or if I could make an outbound phone call with it. And so that's when I realized, like, this is the actual product that needs to be built.
Yeah.
Then I took that and I asked the same questions again. And I continued to do that and refine it over and over again, asking the same questions until now today, here we are, I'm still asking the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, instead of saying, how much would you pay for it? Now I have the opportunity to say, here's how much you would pay for it. And if they say no, if they say yes, it helps you judge and guide your pricing.
So yeah, intense market research is what it sounds like. So just walk me through. I never heard this from you. You went from a company who had a product. You're doing market research, and I'm gonna give the spoiler out. You raised $3 million in a seed round. How do you get from that startup point where you have a product, you're doing market research, all the way to developing a team, bringing people on board, and securing a funding of $3 million?
Yeah, after before the pre-seed round, we had Thoughtly had what 20,000 in recurring revenue at the end of 2023, $20,000 in ARR, which is not very much.
Well,
per month.
couple months in, you're only.
I just launched it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so then January comes around, and by the end of January we're at 50. So now I have two folks that are like, we want to get in on this. One of them is the Ohio Angel Collective, who support me since an Ohio State graduate. I spent most of my recent adult years in Ohio, and I spoke to them back in October, and they were like, "Cool, let us know how it pans out." And I'm like, on that call in October, I was sitting at a kava. I said, "This is exactly what I'm going to do. Here's my game plan. Let's set a calendar meeting for January, and I'm going to show you and prove it to you."
Wow.
That's exactly what I did in October at that kava. And then in January, I got on the call with them, and I remember distinctly, they were like, yeah, okay, yeah, let's just engage with this guy. Let's make it's like, we're not going to cancel.
Slightly interested.
And I said, remember all those things I said I was going to do? And they started naming a few of them. And then I just showed it to them. Like, this is exactly what I did. It's done. And look at our growth. And they were blown away. Then another fund I did the same thing with in San Francisco. And by the end of January, we were at like 50,000 in revenue, and we had like $120,000 invested, which is not very much. Not enough to get things really growing. Until the end of February, we were at 100,000 in annual revenue, and a 4 came in for the pre-seed, and that's when really things started to take off.
Yeah, interesting. So I understand a little bit about the growth aspect of it, and then you start getting developed and established. And I think I came on the team maybe a year into the operations. Sounds about right.
Think about that. You came in like July, right?
Yeah, it was Wayne.
I mean, I guess that was technically exactly a year into me working on Thoughtly.
Yeah. So just from my perspective, I want to give you a little rundown of how I met Torrey and jumped in there. I started an agency, really curious about AI. I jump on the Thoughtly platform. I tried every single platform out there. It's kind of like when AI voice was the thing to do. Like, everyone wanted to start an agency and make money from it. I just wanted to become good at it. So I went to a bunch of different competitors. I'm gonna name drop. I went to Bland. I went to Air AI, who tried charging me $100,000. I went to Synthflow. All of them I couldn't either use or I couldn't get in touch with anyone. I went to Thoughtly as my fourth solution. I first of all started building right away. I had an agent built up 10, 15 minutes, and I had no idea what I was doing. I ran into a question of like tying in my phone number. I jump on the call, and Max, of course, out of everyone, 2 minutes in, he's like, let's jump on a call. Let's figure this out together. Got the support I needed, and then I got the thing up and running. I brought on 15 clients, I think 8 of which weren't paying. I was just providing free solutions, trying to do my best to learn this technology, and I became a beast on your platform. I jump on a call with you to strategize and talk about maybe like a little hiccup I'm facing, and I show you this build, and it's massive. It was actually for a funeral home, surprisingly enough. It was for a funeral home taking in inbound calls. Probably a really strange use case, but I showed you this build, and you're like, this thing's awesome. Casey, come over here. And he wheeled over there. He saw the build, and you're like, interesting. I'm gonna take a look at your profile real quick, but are you open to build full time? And I was like, I looked around. I was like, there's nothing keeping me here. So within a month or so, I flew out to New York, proved myself here. It's been nothing but smiles ever since. When I came into that office, there was like a sense of culture. I don't know how to explain it other than like everyone was on the same page. How do you create a sense of culture like that inside of a startup? And what is that culture? What's super important to hold a team that small and that condensed in such a high pressure environment? What does it take to hold that team together?
It's a good question. When you're building at the cutting edge, it's the fact that you're building at the cutting edge. Like you are doing something no one else on the planet is doing. And I remember talking to Alex when I brought him on and other engineers. I'm like, do you want to build something that no one else is building? And who would say no to that?
Yeah.
And it's true. I mean, it wasn't even, I didn't steer anyone wrong, because the truth is when you are building and just like writing the code that goes into Thoughtly, you're one of a few people on the planet that have written that combination of characters.
Wow. Because
there's nothing else. It's just so unique and it's so new and it's cutting edge. And so when the rest of the team comes in, they feel that energy. You know, in your role, you're not building and coding at the cutting edge, but you're working on the platform and building agents on the cutting edge, and no one else has ever done that before. And so every single person on the team is doing something for the very first time. And if you're a pioneer, then that's the kind of energy and that's the kind of environment that you want to exist in. And there are so many pioneers on this planet that they just don't know that they are one.
Yeah.
But when you realize, like, I actually am that person. I am someone who wants to build at the cutting edge or do anything right at the cutting edge.
Yeah.
Then you can become an innovator by working at a company like Thoughtly.
You're not only on the cutting edge though, you're like leading the cutting edge. So
yeah.
How do you? My question is like, how do you manage? It's a super hyper condensed space, and I've never seen you combust, not even once. How do you first of all deal with the pressure of that, being in a space that no one's ever been in, you know, and managing a team and keeping them under control as well? Because you had to go from somebody who was starting, you know, a little side gig up to leading a whole entire team, trying to accomplish something that's never been done before. It has to be kind of hard. What'd you have to do to kind of like get into that leadership position?
Well, I led teams at Affinity.
Okay.
But that was something that had been done before, building credit cards.
Yeah.
They've been credit cards for a while. So it was a little bit different. The hard thing is not leading people, because I think anyone can, there are many people who can lead people. I think you can lead people.
Of course.
Yeah, of course you can.
Of course.
But when you're leading people into a place that you don't know where you're going, it's kind of like, you know, leading people through a valley and you can see the end, right? That would be starting a business that would make a ton of money.
Yeah.
But it's been done before, and it's a great idea. It's a lot safer. I can see the end.
Yeah.
It's very clear, and I'm taking these people with me over there, and I know there's no like drop off cliff or lava or something.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
my Minecraft really
Well,
but then for this, it's a little bit different, because no one knows what's beyond sort of this this veil that's in front of us.
Yeah.
And every day we learn and we sort of unlock that next phase.
Yeah.
And so everyone just has to trust that I, the one in the front with this like lighter, right, walking through the cave, I know what's beyond this veil, and I don't. But if you trust me, then I will take you to a place where we can all be innovators and pioneers.
Yeah, the promised land.
Exactly.
So you mentioned that there's like a tunnel. You see the light at the end of the tunnel. Truthfully, nobody knows what's going to happen in the AI space. I don't care if you're Sam Altman, or I don't care if you're Will Principe. It's a very crazy market. It's super hard to predict. Where do you see it? In your personal opinion, where do you see voice AI going from here?
I think every company is going to employ agents. That flat out is true. I think Mark Benioff said that. I mean, that's pretty clear. Voice agents are another one, though. I think that every company will employ some manner of voice agents as well. And I think that if you define a voice agent, it's very broad. You can have a voice agent that would join you on a Google Meet and be another account executive to help you sell. Yeah. Right? That'd be helpful for your job. Yeah. I think you crush it. But having an AE that's there with you to answer questions sometimes, that'd be pretty cool. I think that there will be companies employing voice agents to help them with strategy. Like you just get in a call with them, and maybe they're like a Deloitte-style consultant. Yeah. What does that do to consulting firms? I don't know. True. They get to draft up presentations and show you how to make your company more efficient. But then there's the big kahuna, which I think is voice agents that interact with customers. Absolutely. And phone agents, right? This is a product that can apply across like logistics and trucking companies to healthcare. There are so many examples of how you can use a phone agent, but a voice agent that interacts with customers is really unique because that's what we're seeing here at Thoughtly, is just performing so well. I think that the future of phone agents at Thoughtly is exactly what I'm saying here, which is before you had SDRs that had to talk to the top 10% of your prospects, and so you had to do lead scoring inside of Salesforce, and then your SDRs would only call that top 10%. Well, what happens to the bottom 90%? They get emails with little cute pictures on them, and then they get a text every once in a while that says, "Hey, Will," and it spells your name wrong, and checking in. Yeah, if you're not blocked by them. Right, and I just text back, "Stop." Yeah. Right. Well, what if that SDR that you have, the human who's sitting there, who would normally reach out to the top 10% of leads, what if it reached out to all of them? Obviously, you can't ever get enough people. It would never make sense economically to have enough people to do that. But that's where Thoughtly is really the game changer. You can have an AI agent, omni-channel, cross-platform, sit there and talk to your leads, 100% of them, convert them. And that's why we see all of our customers, they see close won rates jump by 25%, pretty much the first week of using Thoughtly. Yeah, I think you and I could both agree the best use case that we love working on, and it's best for AI voice agents, outbound SDRs, booking appointments, transferring over to people. Which kind of brings me to another point I wanted to touch on. Give me some feedback that you've gotten. That's, obviously as a founder made you extremely happy because you kind of built the thing out, had the idea. Give me some feedback that a customer has given that really just probably the best feedback that you've ever gotten. There's always a thread along every customer. It's always this quote of, "It's a machine." Yeah. It's interesting because it's kind of a double entendre where, like, yeah, it is a machine. Thanks, right? But it's actually a machine, right? Yeah. And so I love hearing that because I think that it could be a marketable slogan, it's a machine. True. Because so many of our customers have said it in the sense of like, it's a machine, but it's also this play on words. So I don't know. I mean, the best way to describe feedback on Thoughtly is it's a machine, whether it's a B2B SaaS company, whether it's a B2C education company, education technology company, whether it's an internet service provider that serves millions of customers for internet service. All of these companies that we work with, they all say the same thing. It's a machine. I would agree with that. I've definitely heard that once or twice as well. I think we have, I don't know if we're allowed to say his name, but somebody sloganed it, and it kind of repeated from there. You're a very unique person. I don't know if you know that, but as I mentioned, I haven't seen you combust once, not even come close. And it seems as if you're like immune to pressure, almost. Because at least you don't let the team see that in you. Is there any times where you feel immense amount of pressure in the space running a business, handling operations? And if so, what are they? Every day when I wake up, it's a lot of pressure.
As in, what is the most overwhelming thing inside of not only a startup environment, but an AI voice startup?
Every single aspect of it. Product market fit, budgeting, team, structure, management. I mean, every single thing that goes into running a business is overwhelming. No doubt. It's stressful. Mm-hmm. How do we grow revenue? How do we build new features? How do we stay ahead? How do we innovate? How do we raise money if we need to? How do we do anything? Like, why do we exist to begin with? Is it even justifiable? Product market fit question. All of these elements of running a business are overwhelming. And so that's why it takes, I think, someone who can handle that level of stress to run a business. I think it's not unique to me. It's not unique to you. I know you could do it. I know you have done it. I think a lot of people can do it. But that's the number one thing you got to say to yourself is, if I'm going to start a business, I got to be able to handle the overwhelming load that comes with it.
Well, so many people crumble from the pressure. I mean, most businesses fail because of pressure. So what are Torrey Leonard's tactics of dealing with pressure, if there is any? Do you have any go-to things that you do regularly to deal with pressure?
Well, I know a lot of people in the business world do things like meditate.
Yeah.
Or they'll
ice baths or
a little cold plunge.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't do that. But well, I guess I do. I'd love to cold plunge. There's just not one very accessible to me. I mean, it's really just you've just got to put everything in order and then put it on a rubric. Like, what is?
You love your rubrics.
Love my rubrics.
You
telling you all last night about my rubrics.
We were at dinner last night, and I came back from the bathroom, and Torrey was just going crazy about how much he loves rubrics. He's like, so what I do is I throw it through ChatGPT, I analyze the whole entire thing, I throw it into a rubric so I could see exactly what it looks like. I analyze the risk reward. From there, I make a proper decision.
Rubrics are great. Quick thing. Rubrics are honestly one of the greatest things that have ever been invented. If you want to, say, pick a hotel, go create a rubric on ChatGPT. You can just speak to it for just 5 minutes and say, I want a rubric of like towels, amenities, location, whatever, and then help me score it. And then you will just score the hotel based on the rubric that you create, which are basically the values that you see as valuable in a hotel. And then you divide the total score by the cost per night. And now you have a price to value ratio that will help you pick the best hotel. So rubrics are great. You get that total score and you can divide it by some other divisor, and it's
like the price, and then
like price,
yeah.
And now you have a price to value ratio that's really helpful for making decisions. But to answer your question, really doing that with issues and problems is the same thing. If you run a business every day, you're going to encounter an issue,
of course, and
so you just need to kind of score them. And your job as the CEO is to handle the craziest problems, or the ones that no one else can deal with, or no one else can handle, or no one else knows what to do with.
Yeah.
And so you're going to get these every day. There's going to be more than you can handle. And so you've just got to put them in a list, kind of in your head or physically, and go down the list in order of which one's most important.
Hyper-calculated.
Hyper-calculated. And that's how that is what your day looks like.
Wow. Interesting. Well, I have a question here then. You say hyper-calculated, things are put in diagrams, they're organized and whatnot. With that in mind, you must have organized the upcoming years for Thoughtly. What does that look like?
Like the roadmap?
The roadmap. What does it look like for Thoughtly 3-5 years from now?
Well, it's a little private.
We'll keep the private things private, but
you know.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna keep my lips sealed about what it is because it's pretty cool. You were sharing it yesterday. Besides product features, what does the next 5 years look like for Thoughtly, maybe in terms of funding, culture, location? Maybe the way that I really want to touch on the way the platform works, but give us what you can with the next 3 years. What does Thoughtly look like?
Well, location, first of all. Currently headquartered in New York. Do you have a problem with that?
Miami. We're at a coin flip. We're at a coin flip. There's a thing inside of our business where when we get the Series A, we're going to leave it up to a vote on where we go around the map to headquarter. There's 3 people that say New York, 3 people that say Miami.
I don't get a vote.
Yeah,
so
we're
3-2.
No, you get a vote.
No, that was the stipulation is I don't get a vote.
It's going to be a bare knuckle fight inside of our main office right now
That's right.
of where it's going to be. By the way, I like New York, but you know,
You're more of a Miami guy.
More of a Miami guy.
Yeah.
More of a Dubai guy. even though
Yeah.
I've
How many
never
times you been there?
Yeah, not once. But come on, like
That's
it's
awesome.
Like,
That's
have you ever played GTA 6? No, you haven't. But
How
you
many
know,
times have you
but
played
you know
GTA
you'd
6?
like it.
I played GTA 5. I don't want to go to LA.
All right, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. But you're dodging my question, man. I want to know what Thoughtly looks like. I want to, because I'm on this boat. I've heard about it, obviously, the private parts. But what does Thoughtly look like in 3 to 5 years?
It's the go-to platform for omni-channel AI agents that handle the entire customer journey, entire customer lifecycle.
So more of like genuinely a complete AI agent. Like
An agent that
that does everything. It's
that they talk to your customers and it converts them,
basically a robot in a cubicle doing everything.
doing everything.
Wow. Interesting. Well, that's kind of everything that I did have. Actually, some stuff that I learned and some stuff I already knew. But Torrey, it's always a pleasure to talk to you, my friend.
Likewise.